gun owners have to make sure we give the officer the latitude to control that situation. So don't freak out. Don't start diving around your car looking for stuff. Just relax, keep your hands on the steering wheel, turn your interior light on, roll all your windows down, and just say, hey, officer, here's my documents. Oh, I'm supposed to tell you that I'm carrying a handgun concealed. I do have a permit for it. What would you like me to do? This is Corey Jones with the Be Ready with Safety Man podcast. Join us every week for a new podcast. Follow us everywhere podcasts are played and on YouTube. Be Ready with Safety Man. This is Corey Jones. Hey, welcome to the Safety Man podcast. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Corey, safetyman.co, at safetyman at all your social media. And I'm joined by my buddy, Ida Hoagie. Anthony, what's up, Anthony?
What's up? How are you, sir? Welcome back to we jump around a little bit. We kind of do wherever we want, whenever we want, however we want. You know, that's how we're very fluent in our podcast, wherever we want to meet up and do stuff. So we're virtual this time. That's okay.
Yeah, we're virtual. I can see you. I can hear you. It's good. You know?
Yeah.
I'm feeling patriotic.
Yeah, I see that in the background. That's nice. I like it. Yeah, I didn't come prepared. I just went pretty plain.
It's not really there though.
Oh, my bad.
It's not really there. It's only, is that beer with ice in it?
No, I got my Rockstar tonight. It's okay. My Rockstar energy drink of choice, sugar-free, that is. Sugar-free, no calories. So
okay, good job. You
know, I figure if I'm going to be bad, I got to be like, you know, tune it back a little bit. Like I said, that's my one vice though. I'm still working on the energy drinks, but
I hear you, brother. I hear you, brother. So what we got on the agenda for today, my man?
All right, to start off, some of you guys and girls have watched. You guys know that we are from New Jersey, so we talk a lot about New Jersey stuff. We discussed on an earlier podcast. If you haven't seen, go check that one out on Safety Man Podcast. First off, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see all the new stuff come out every month. We did concealed carry because that's like the big hot topic. People were asking us. So in the earlier video, we talked about a lot of stuff that's still relevant right now, but there is a couple updates that have happened since that first podcast a couple months ago. So we wanted to bring everyone up to speed. So I know, Corey, you're dealing with it firsthand. We had some questions on the last one. I think we've kind of answered them now. We got some answers finally on some of that stuff. Yeah.
So one of the biggest ones was, do I have to qualify with all the weapons that I intend to carry off duty or plain clothes, concealed? It's actually New Jersey. It's not really concealed carry. People are continually saying CCW. It's actually permit to carry a handgun or handgun carry permit. So technically you would be able to carry it open display, but like I think Anthony and I agree, it's probably not the best idea. Being up here in New Jersey, up in the Northeast, we're not used to that. So you're either going to get, you're definitely going to get interdicted by the police. Somebody's going to call the police because they see an open and displayed firearm. But then there's also that population out there that maybe doesn't agree with the law that private citizens should be carrying firearms. So they may want to just harass you and contact the police for that reason also. So we do recommend that you carry concealed. All of my clients, I recommend they carry concealed. I train them to draw from a concealed holster. And yes, you do have to qualify with every firearm that you intend to carry. You do. They do. I've had several clients of mine that now have been approved. They have their permits to carry a handgun. And some judges, depending on which county, are doing it in different ways. Some are listing the actual handgun make, model, caliber, and serial number on the actual permit. And some are saying, see attached court order. And in the attached court order is the list of the handgun or handguns that the applicant intends to carry plain clothes.
Yeah, and so the other thing too, to go right along with that, I think it was a little discussion we had about it last time, if I remember correctly. It has to be signed and accounted for. Like you can't just say, hey, yeah, he passes a qualification, he's good. Like you actually have to, you know, put your name on there, Corey Jones, this is when he passed, or this is what he did. It has to be detailed, right? Something along those lines.
Yes, I have a standardized form that's been accepted by at least 2 counties now, and probably 20 different police agencies have sent them up, including state police agencies have sent that up. And on that form that I submit, it's answering the state's requirements, not even in the Supreme Court Bruin decision. It just says that we have to remove the justifiable need clause. Doesn't say anything else. However, the state enacted that the applicant shall demonstrate, quote, a thorough knowledge of the safe handling and operation of the handgun or guns he or she intends to carry, end quote. That really doesn't mean anything. What standard is that? So my brother, being an attorney and me having been a firearm instructor for quite some time, decided to use the standard of the Attorney General's office. As a police officer for 27 years, I had to shoot the handgun qualification course 1, which is a 60 round course, 48 round or 80% minimum passing score. I had to shoot that twice a year, every year with my duty gun, and then twice a year, every year with my off-duty gun. And then to carry as a retired police officer, I still have to shoot that course twice a year with every gun that I intend to carry off duty or as a retired police officer. So that's the standard that I use for the shooting. But as Anthony, I'm sure would agree, it's one thing to know how to use the gun, but equally as important is when, or what's the justifiable reason when I can draw the gun, point the gun, use the gun, and then what are my responsibilities thereafter. So I also included the Attorney General's Use of Force Policy 2022, which is the most recent and current use of force policy that every police officer has to be taught once a year, and all retired police officers have to be taught when they qualify also. So I use those two standards. Some people were in the beginning were saying that my standard is too high. However, my standard has not been rejected by any court yet.
Yeah. So, and having a high standard when it comes to something like this is not, this isn't like some, I don't know, half-ass thing that you want to pass people on, right? You
Right.
obviously want a solid standard for these things, especially if it's going to fall back on you having to testify down the road, which we talked about a little bit. A couple of the things that I saw, first off, just to be clarified, so I think some people weren't sure about this carry law applies to handguns. It was very clear now that it's not shotguns, not rifles, it's not long range weapons, sniper rifles. It's literally just handguns. It's been kind of clarified because there was some confusion there for a minute. People were like, well, can I carry my rifle? Is that going to count? I'm like, I don't think so, but I don't have clarification. I don't know. But now it's been clarified. It is just for handguns only.
Yeah. And that must have been some wishful thinking on some people who thought that was possible, because when you go to the state police website and you download the form, it says permit to carry a handgun.
Yeah.
Right? Now, there are some 223s and some AR style things that are short barrel rifles that are almost considered handguns, but first off, they're per se illegal in the state of New Jersey. So you can't carry anything that's per se illegal. Even a handgun with a high capacity magazine is per se illegal in the state of New Jersey. So those wouldn't qualify anyway. So yeah, it is a handgun that is in and of itself not illegal in the state of New Jersey that you currently own.
The other thing that I've seen too now, a little bit more clarification. Again, it's going a little bit to county, but it seems like it's going to be generally across the board that yes, you do have to carry your card with you, with your firearm if you're going to be carrying. And if stopped by a police officer for a lawful reason or whatever, you do have to present that card as well to show that you do carry that. And you must have one with the other. If you're going to have your firearm carrying, you have to have that with you. And it has to be the one signed by a judge, not like that you applied on the internet and here's my paperwork that I applied. No, it has to be the signed card from the judge that signed it.
Yes, and they're wallet-sized cards. They're easy to carry. I would also encourage people to photocopy or scan that court order. Keep the actual one in a safe place. Make a standard-sized photocopy of it. Throw it out in your glove box or your gun bag, and then scan it and make it a PDF and put it on your phone so you do have access to that. At the end of the day, if the officer wants to take enforcement action, obviously we're going to comply with whatever enforcement action that officer wants to take and then handle it in court later with a good attorney. Most officers now are aware of this. I haven't encountered any officers or any agencies that are like, wow, I wish this didn't happen. They're being on the opposite. They're being very helpful, very encouraging. I have officers that I've worked with or that I've known in the past that are recommending their friends, families, and neighbors come to me to get the training. So the vast majority of law enforcement officers understand that this is a right, and they're happy that New Jerseyans are getting trained to be able to exercise that right in a safe, effective, and lawful manner.
Yeah. So that's kind of the big updates I have. Did you see anything else or different or anything along those lines besides that?
A couple other ones. One is, how often do people have to requalify? It says that the permits are good for 2 years from the date of issue. Now, we don't know what's going to happen when that expires. If you're going to have to requalify, if you're going to have to reapply, go through the same whole thing, get fingerprinted, get notarized, and do the whole process again, or if it's just you go and requalify with that handgun again. We don't know that. There's been no guidance on that. We just got another update that you must make sure that you have the handgun qualification course 1 or handgun qualification course 2 as the course of fire that you used. It can't just be Corey's Little Sports Shop's qualification course that he made up, and that's the course that you pass. It has to be an identified, quantifiable course that the Attorney General's office is aware of. That's why you can use the HQC1 or the HQC2. It can't just be Joe's Little Sports Shop's course of fire, because that's not anything.
I mean, this is a little bit of wishful thinking, but I think what would be easier down the road, hey, attorney generals or anyone listening, because I know other states do this, but having it actually as an endorsement on your license, where you would have to have it renewed every time, because what's licensed now? Every 2 years, I think, still, or for your registration, things like that. So having it some kind of endorsement. Now, not everyone has a license. I get that. Not everyone drives. But that would be an option for some people, and to show your paperwork when you go renew or submit your paperwork, and then you could just have it endorsed on your license or registration or whatever, and have it connected. And just, I think that would be really easy, especially for officers stopping vehicles. They know, okay, he handed me his license. Oh, sir, says that you have an endorsement here. Yes. Are you carrying with you right now? I am not, so that I think would be kind of wishful thinking, but maybe down the road, that's something that kind of makes it easier for kind of everyone, be able to get everything done in one shot.
Yeah, you get everything done in one shot.
No pun intended, one shot.
No, I like it. Took me a second. I didn't know it was a pun until you told me. Normally, I'm pretty quick. I'm a little upset with myself. Must be under the weather. But you brought up a good point. If you get contacted by law enforcement and you are carrying a handgun concealed, and you do decide to alert the officers that you're carrying a handgun, whether it be a motor vehicle stop or you're in the Wawa, and for some reason you are interacting with law enforcement, be calm, keep your hands in a nice, safe place, and alert the officer. Hey, officer, just so you're aware, I have a handgun carry permit. I am carrying a gun. I'm carrying an appendix carrier in my waistband on my right side. My ID's in my wallet, in my left back pocket. What would you like me to do at this point? And let the officer determine how he or she would like you to go about identifying yourself and showing your permit. Most officers are going to be a little bit more nervous in New Jersey because, again, in my 30 years as a police officer, we were not exposed to this. Whenever somebody had a gun and they weren't a cop, they were getting locked up, because there was no concealed carry in New Jersey. So the level of tension is going to be a little bit higher. So we, as responsible private citizens, that's what I am now, gun owners, have to make sure we give the officer the latitude to control that situation. So don't freak out. Don't start diving around your car looking for stuff. Just relax, keep your hands on the steering wheel, turn your interior light on, roll all your windows down, and just say, hey, officer, here's my documents. Oh, I'm supposed to tell you that I'm carrying a handgun concealed. I do have a permit for it. What would you like me to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's common sense, but we just need people to understand that, it just be frontful about what's happening with the information, and just explain that to the officer. Say, hey, this is what I got, this is what's going on. And you can put everyone at ease. A lot more tension will be released at that point by just being open and honest what's going on. So
Exactly. We don't want any unintentional shootings. We don't want anybody getting arrested. And then, like the law says, I do teach this attorney general's use of force. If the officer just still does want to take some enforcement action, does want to confiscate your weapon, does want to arrest you because he or she is not aware of or does not believe that your permit is accurate, you comply. If you take my course, you will see in the attorney general's use of force PowerPoint, there is a picture of a pile of money that the attorney general put on the PowerPoint that says, comply with the unlawful arrest because you will find remedy in civil court. And they show a pile of $100 bills. So he or she, the attorney general's office, is aware that there's going to be a lawsuit, that the officer is going to lose for arresting you against policy or out of policy or unlawfully, and that you're going to get money. So comply or die is what I tell everybody. Comply. State your case calmly. Say, officer, just so you're aware, this is legal, whether it be a taser or a firearm. This is legal. I'm allowed to have this. However, I will comply. What do you need me to do? And just do it there.
Another thing, just the last thing, hollow points are still illegal for carry purposes, just so people know as well. That is also still there. You cannot carry the hollow points. That was the one other thing that people had some questions about, but that's that's pretty much all I'd seen or at this point at least.
So hollow points are illegal for you to carry. You can take them to the range and you can have them in your gun at home. However, there are a few companies out there, the ones that I carry, because even as a retired cop, they're illegal for me to carry. But Hornady, Hornady, makes a round called Critical Defense. Critical Defense by Hornady. It's listed on the New Jersey State Police website under Firearms under FAQ, frequently asked questions. They are one of the 4 or 5 legal rounds that are very similar to hollow points in their performance that you can carry. Another one's called Corban, but Hornady Critical Defense are the most common ones that people are carrying in places where hollow points are illegal. They also make a Critical Duty, which is made for law enforcement, but look on the website, just justify and satisfy your own curiosity. But Hornady Critical Defense perform very well, and they are legal for you to carry with your legally owned weapon with a concealed carry permit.
Good to know. Good to know. Anything else you got for us on this topic, sir?
Stay safe and be ready.
All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with the concealed carry stuff, the open carry stuff. We're going to keep you updated to the best of our knowledge of what we can explain. Corey has a lot of good information that keeps flowing in, and I'm going to keep my ears and eyes open on what's happening as well. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, that Safety Man podcast on YouTube, and make sure you follow on all the social media stuff that Corey has as well. Because we're going to be doing updates. We're going to keep you informed to the best of our ability. I'm going to throw it out there. We are not lawyers. This is just for entertainment purposes only. So make sure you do your own research on top of it. But we will try to explain things to the best of our ability. Thanks, everybody. And be safe, right?
Be safe. Stay ready.